So hopefully that's all confident. I feel like I've given quite a uh, good explanation for each role that we've looked at. So now looking at the roles of the crown. So in Australia, we have what's called a constitutional monarchy, meaning that we have a monarch, which is the crown and is the head of state. Obviously, the monarch or the crown refers to the royals in England. Um, and constitutional refers to the fact that we have a constitution protecting us and all of our rights and key fundamental laws are outlined and can only be changed via a successful referendum. So, meaning that this prevents any sort of corruption as Parliament cannot do as they please. They are actually constrained by anything that's outlined in the Constitution and they cannot change any of those principles. Um, so, the Crown is represented at Parliament level by a governor, if we're looking at Victorian level, and at Commonwealth level by the Governor General. So this is just a representative of the Crown that signs off and grants that royal assent, approval for a bill to pass at the very end when it's been accepted by both houses. So the governor doesn't really have any powers like the Crown. They're just simply a representative of the Crown. This is kind of a formal step, really. Now, these are the roles of the Crown. So they grant royal assent, we said, so they can approve and sign bills, which will make them into laws or legislation. So it is that necessary step for a bill to pass and actually become a real law. We said they also have the ability to withhold royal assent. So they can actually refuse to approve a bill, but this very rarely happens. It's almost never happened. They also appoint an executive council and also appoint federal judges. So this means that they basically, this is also formal. Okay, so we know whoever was the party that had the majority of seats in the lower house becomes the government party, but they appoint them. Okay, so that's just more like a formal step. And they also appoint federal judges, so Commonwealth level judges. So this is obviously referring to the High Court of Australia, um, not a state level court. Why does the Crown do this? Well, technically, this helps to ensure that there's no overlap. If the members of Parliament or the government party were the ones to appoint federal level judges, then they could just choose people they like, and there would be, corruption. So instead, we have the Crown appointing the government party and appointing the federal judges. Um, and, technically the Crown is part of Parliament, but there's no real overlap because they don't actually sit in Parliament and everything like that. They just have that role of granting or withholding that royal assent. Okay? And they can also dissolve Parliament. So in the instance that there is, corruption that's been discovered or something happening that should not be happening in Parliament, obviously this is really rare. They could dissolve the whole Parliament, meaning that elections would be held again. Early elections would occur to re-elect the entire Parliament all over again because something happened.